Let's tumble some rocks. I just got a rock tumbler and I want to try it out. Hi everyone, I am Katie, the Crafty Blog Stalker, and I would love for you to subscribe and even ring that bell so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming craft tutorials. Recently, I was camping in Wyoming, which is where I was born, and we were camping on a lake, and there were tons of beautiful rocks on the edge of the lake. And so I knew that I wanted to try rock tumbling, and that was my sign to finally give it a try. This is my first time ever rock tumbling. I'm doing it with you guys, and we're gonna see what happens, how my rocks look when we are done. The rock tumbler I purchased is the Viyuki. I bought it off of Amazon, and of course, as always, I will have links to all of the supplies that I used either in the description of this video or in the blog post. So make sure to check those out. And then the rock tumbling grit that I purchased is from Dan and Darcy, and it includes all 4 of the grits plus some plastic pellets. Now the rock tumbler that I purchased is a 3-pound rock tumbler, but that means that I should only put about 2 pounds of rocks in it. The other pound is for water and grit. So I've got my tumbler barrel here on my scale, and I'm going to start putting my rocks inside and make sure that I'm not over 2 pounds. Now I am new, obviously, my first time, so I've got big rocks and little rocks. I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but we will find out. Okay, and the rocks I wanted to tumble, it's a touch over 2, so let's take some out. We'll take out some of the smaller ones. So now we are 1 pound 15 ounces, so that works perfectly. I've got grit number 1, and you add 2 tablespoons for every pound. So we've got 2 pounds, so we're gonna use 4 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I've got my plastic pellets, and I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of plastic pellets. I'm going to pound those down, and now I'm going to put enough water in to cover my rocks. Okay, we've got our lid on there. And take that off. And I just want to make sure it's waterproof. Nothing's going to fall out. Okay, we're good there. Now I'm going to tumble this for 1 week, and of course I'm not going to leave it here. I've got a spare bedroom I'm going to put it in, and hopefully it's not too loud, but let's go ahead and turn it on. And we're going to let this tumble for a week. The rock tumbler has been going for 2 weeks, so we're going to open this up and see how our rocks look. And I'm going to go outside because you never want to dump the sludge, the slurry down your indoor drains because it will ruin them. So I'm going to go ahead and take this outside and dump it out. All right, I'm going to pour that in. And then the fun part, see how they look. Okay, now we're going to go in and clean each one with a toothbrush just to make sure we get all of that grit out of there. And I've got some water in here, so then once it's clean, I can put it in my barrel. Okay, I've cleaned my barrel out really well, and my rocks are clean, so I can put my rocks back in the barrel. I still just love this one. This one's my favorite one. I'm gonna add water to just barely cover the rocks. I'm not going to use the same pellets as before, so I'm going to add some new. And then for grit 2, we do the same. 1 tablespoon for every pound. And we did 2 pounds of rocks. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons. Two tablespoons of grit number 2. I washed my lid. I'm going to put that back on. Okay, we've got our lid back on. And I'm just going to make sure that it's leak proof. And it looks good. So this is going to go back on the tumbler for 1 week. We are on step 3 of our rock tumbler, and it has been a week. So I'm going to take this outside and pour it into my strainer and take a look at my rocks. We're going to take our toothbrush again and just lightly clean each of the rocks to make sure that there's none of that grit stuck in there. I still love this one. This one's probably my favorite one. And then you never want the rocks to be dry, so I'm putting them back in the barrel with some water for now. I really love this one too, how it has that stripe through the center. All right, we have all of our clean rocks, and we're going to put them back into our clean barrel. We're going to add water to where it just covers the rocks. And we are moving on to grit number 3. Same as before, we're going to add 1 tablespoon for every pound, and we've got 2 pounds, so we're going to add 2 tablespoons. And we're going to add a tablespoon of new plastic pellets. Now I am keeping the pellets from each cycle, but you don't want to reuse cycle 1 pellets with cycle 3 because they could have little pieces of grit stuck in there. So I am using new pellets for each batch, but then when I'm doing them again, when I'm rock tumbling again, I'll go back and I'll use the pellets that I used in cycle 1, I'll use it again in cycle 1. Clean my lid good, and we're going to put that back on now. And we're going to let grit number 3 cycle for another week. We are now on week 4 of our rock tumbler. So we're going to take it outside, open it up, and take a look at our rocks again. Again, we're going to take each rock and go over it with the toothbrush. Make sure there's none of that step number 3 in any of those nooks and crannies. That's what I'm trying to say. Oh, they're looking so pretty. And we've only got 1 final polishing step. And of course, I've cleaned my barrel really well. I have my barrel filled with water to cover the rocks. And I'm going to add my grit number 4. Now this time, we do 1.5 tablespoons for each pound. So we're going to do 3 tablespoons. And again, we'll do 1 tablespoon of pellets. I'm going to put the lid back on, and we're going to let this tumble for 1 more week. I just finished stage 4, so now we're going to take it outside and dump it out. And we're going to do the same thing we've done every other time. Just brush them with the toothbrush, because while we're done with the grit, I'm still going to put them back in the tumbler with some soap, just to make sure that they are really nice and clean. And this time, instead of putting any grit in, since we're all done with the grit and the polishing, we are just going to put a little bit of ivory soap in there. So I'm just going to shave some off right into my barrel. Now I'm going to close this up, and we only need to let this tumble for a couple hours. If you want to, you can let it go longer, but it really only needs to go for an hour or 2. All right, you guys, our rocks are finally done after 5 weeks of tumbling. So for the first time in 5 weeks, they can be dried. So I've just got a microfiber cloth here, and as I take them out, I can dry the rocks and see what they look like. And these are my after of my beautiful rocks. I think they turned out so cool, and I definitely have some awesome looking rocks in this bunch. So if you have never tried rock tumbling, I highly suggest that you do. Just be patient. For more fun craft tutorials, visit thecraftyblogstocker.com. Thanks everyone. Bye and happy crafting.